Okay, another fire staff build. I know what you guys are thinking. Here's another guy with Burnanator spamming flamethrower. Hell no, that's not what we do here. We play fire staff like a real man. We use Inferno on a strength build. If you guys don't know, we get that fat 15% damage bonus on both weapons from Inferno, but at the cost of the damage over time from your fire staff not scaling from strength. So we get a good burst with this weapon, but we do not have that really powerful dot that a lot of people are having trouble dealing with in PvP right now. That being said, it's not like this is a bad build or fire staff is terrible without the dots. I feel like Inferno does a great job not only having good upfront burst damage with its abilities, but really buffing the crap out of the back bar. And when you have a hard-hitting weapon like Greatsword on your back bar, oh my god, this is just such a powerful build to play. The utility that Fire Staff gives, especially with skills like Incinerate, makes a huge difference. So we're going to get into that PvP commentary. I hope that you guys enjoy. There's a little bit of a breakdown of the build at the end of the video too, for you guys to see what I'm running here. So this is one OPR game. I only got to play one game today and open it up with a nice little 1v3. Big props to Incinerate for all the stagger that it gave there. But yeah, I really had an incredible game. What can I say? I don't know if it's just Fire Staff being OP or if it's just that this is one of my more played weapon combos and I really like it. I've been playing a lot of melee builds lately and they are super viable in OPR now, but let's be honest guys, ranged weapons make all the difference, especially for finishing off opponents that are trying to get away. That's the big issue I have with melee builds, is that when someone squirrels behind the other players, I just can't get that kill. Big damage though when I go in on that group. I almost take down the musket player in the back there. I end up missing all of my shots, land one fireball, but it's not enough, and there are these super weak dots ticking on him. That's not going to take him down. So I try to go for the burnout back in. We got lots of friendlies coming here as well. I get staggered right away, taking advantage of that really strong Greatsword block, just kind of waiting out the route. Nobody shoots at me though. So I go back in, go for the Incinerate, jump on top of this tank, and just try to do my best to get some damage into him. Actually, some pretty decent hits on him for being in heavy armor. And there is a beautiful burnout, 2 connections, 1 big AoE, hitting one of those players with the fireball, taking him down. And yeah, just doing our best as the team there to finish off more, and I'm just going to cut to the next part of this OPR map. This guy ends up coming to the fight on his horse. I hit him with the light attack. I do get a friendly hit with a ranged player there who ends up taking him down, but holy man, the damage that Greatsword does when you've got Inferno on the back bar, it is not only comparable to Serenity, but if you're sitting at in power cap, it's literally better than Serenity. And oh, big damage as I get on top of this guy here. I go for the burnout into him, and I do connect. He ends up coming down. The other player comes towards me, and there is Incinerate doing work. He just eats that stagger. I switch to the Greatsword. I do land once with the spin, and then there's the poke to finish him off, and then another player ends up coming in here. Now, he just came out of the spawn. I don't realize right away, and I go to trade with him, and oh my god, I take a lot of damage from that. I have to wait out until he's got no more immunity to damage, and then there I catch him with the Incinerate, and looks like I can hurt him now. I try to get the poke to finish him off, and I miss the crosscut, and I quickly chug my potions, and I turn around to try to go for the Incinerate through here, but he gets me with the stagger on the Greatsword, and then there is the Incinerate to get the stagger against him, but I get shot by the ranged player from behind. And I gotta love that new map, man. It's not a flat plane, so I'm not just gonna constantly get shot. I can break some line of sight and manage to get through the group again using burnout. Lots of direction changing with this kind of weapon combo is really good at keeping yourself alive, especially when you got multiple players on top of you. And I come inside here, I get a good damage with the spin on this enemy healer there. Go for the poke. Unfortunately, he quickly heals up, and I find myself very low on health. And don't pop the ultimate. Don't need it. Oh, I end up being okay. No one actually ends up following me out. So I circle around. Well, I went through, but I didn't really kill anybody. I just went through the group. And I find a healer on the outside here by himself. I jump on top of him, and I try to get the finishing blow. There's the fireball. Unfortunately, it's just not quite enough damage to finish him off. And he's standing in his circle, so he ends up healing up very quickly. We've got somebody up top shooting at me, too. This was something you guys talked about in my last video. You know, it's not that ranged is terrible now, but having all of the line of sight and cover options that we just didn't have in the other OPR map makes all the difference, because I can just hide behind these pillars and reposition myself and actually absorb a ton, will mitigate a ton of damage from these guys. And then I go through the spin here. I managed to get huge damage on him with the crosscut. Oh my god, that's over 7k crosscut on that poor guy. Then I turn around and just start feeding fireballs towards the last two players there. My friendly player coming in here, and these guys go through the door. So I come back around the other side. I go for the burnout in, and oh my god, the whole enemy team is here. Probably not the best idea for me to stick around, so I quickly go out the other side. The OPR points on this map, having 3 different entrances, is also one of my favorite things about it. And here we catch a guy just kind of lower health on the outside of the door. I do land some good damage with the fire staff, and there's the Greatsword to finish him off. And then right away just go for another burnout to see if I can get some pressure on the blunderbuss player that comes in. But it looks like the enemy group is just killing all the friendlies that come into this spot. And I know since I'm not crazy durable, I don't want to stick here too long, because I will pull a lot of unnecessary attention to myself if I do. And I managed to just get back outside, head back towards the other outposts here, and I see a bunch of enemy players. They just took down a friendly. I try to get some damage with the Greatsword, but I end up taking a lot of damage myself, getting hit by that spear stun. And, well, we're going to do the best we can with the fire staff. Go for the burnout in. Don't hit anybody, but there's the fireball into the incinerate. This is such a big deal for incinerate. The damage that it does and that stagger, it persists for a really long time. Well past when the animation is over, and that's exactly what got the kill on that musket player there. He ended up walking into the incinerate just a moment too soon, and it connects and finishes him off. And then this guy here, he's trying to throw some ranged attacks down with his ice gauntlet. We are going to jump on top of him with the burnout, and there's the incinerate connecting to finish him off. And then this guy rides in on his horse and just changes his mind. That's okay. Of course, I'm just meandering around this OPR map, looking for as much combat as I can. I jump on top of the group here, put a big incinerate down on everybody, go for the spin through on my Greatsword, just try to get as much damage as possible. I don't think I did pick up a single kill there. That's okay. My incinerate, or my burnout, is ready again. And this guy behind me ends up going down before I can get to the incinerate. And then the other player here just jumping on top of me with the sword and board. I use the Greatsword to quickly go into the defensive stance so I can block into that heavy attack. And my team is just absolutely crushing forward here. Yeah. What can I say, guys? This is such a strong build, and it's a little bit of a different approach to what a lot of people are hating about Firestaff right now. So hopefully this isn't as hated as the current meta Firestaff using Burnanator. I know it was nerfed, but man, that damage over time, everybody loves so much. And you can see I actually managed to pull a really good score that game. Taking a look at the attribute points here, if I had some better gear, I could have 200 con on this build, but I don't have all the 725 stuff yet, so one can dream. Here's a look at my Firestaff tree. The really important thing, I think, especially because the damage over time sucks with Inferno, is to get backdraft, so you can land that heavy attack for that double heavy attack explosion. Here's a quick look at the Greatsword tree that I'm running as well. Honestly, this build is a lot of fun to play. I love how mobile it is, and I love the combination of Firestaff and Greatsword. This is just one of my favorite weapon combos, 2 of my favorite weapons and favorite combos to use. You guys can see I'm not even running a crazy good Greatsword. It basically just has Trenchant Strikes on it, and it still hits like a truck because Inferno is so strong. I'm going to do my best to get a better Greatsword for this build. But outside of that, Shirking Heals is a must if you want to do some solo. And yeah. Here's a look at the rest of my gear. I know last video I said that ranged is dead, but honestly guys, having a ranged weapon is amazing. I'm so glad that all the terrain on this map makes melee builds so much more viable, but let's be honest. Firestaff, bow, musket, they go a long way to sealing kills in OPR. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. I hope you're looking forward to some more, because I'm going to be playing a lot more tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you next time.